that our continent was on a planet that was full of hate and jealousy and death. That planet was in a solar system that was full of clusters of stars. And that solar system was in a galaxy. If you zoom out further, there was only jet black, almost like the eye of a deer.
3 years ago, Trevor Wright, an autistic poet from Derby, came to visit the team at Writing East Midlands with an idea. We know that there are many brilliant autistic writers, authors, poets and playwrights out there, but Trevor wanted to know how by bringing some of these professionals together with other autistic writers, it might result in some exciting new work. He wanted to empower these writers to articulate and be able to share what matters to them. He also wondered if it might help to lower some of the masks autistic people sometimes feel they have to wear in order to try and fit into a neurotypical world. And so Beyond the Spectrum began as a programme of creative writing workshops held online because of COVID-19. We recruited 8 professional writers, each with lived experience of autism, and a sparky group of writers from Nottinghamshire and Derbyshire, aged between 8 and 80.
The nice things have been how people have just opened up and kind of been happy to share, and I think the surprise was not that that's happened, but it started to happen fairly early.
None of the young people involved knew each other before we began. They've all experienced a sort of sense of isolation within mainstream education. What we managed to create was a space where everybody fit in.
I am the painter, hands brushing, jabbing, scraping. I am the conductor, arms reaching, pointing, waving. I am the pianist.
I found it was challenging and interesting and very developing all at the same time. We all understood that we all think differently, and it's just lovely to be in company like that.
Dear Emily, I'm writing to complain about the service in this house. Firstly, everyone always wakes me up.
Don't underestimate children as natural storytellers. I mean, on the B for bang, they're ready to go with any idea. They're so focused and they come up with such amazing stuff.
Like the whisper of the breeze and the swish of the trees. That is how my heart feels when I'm with you.
We all went into the project with a really open mind. We all know the benefits of joining a creative writing group, but Beyond the Spectrum ended up being about so much more than that. It was clear from very early on that we were working with an extremely talented bunch of writers. Workshops just brimmed with original ideas, new ways of seeing things, and some really excellent writing.
The world is broken. A great mist now covers most of the planet. When the mist fell, monsters straight from nightmares appeared, destroying everything in their path.
We decided what was going to happen. Myself and Caroline suggested things. Sometimes those things were taken and run with. Sometimes those things met with some resistance, and different things came out of that.
I want to be bright as the flames, not blinding. I want to be warm, not scolding. I want to brighten the room, not burn it down with me.
These autistic participants were just a lot more willing to go against the grain and to push themselves and to do things they weren't comfortable with. And I was expecting the opposite, to be honest. So I'm just really impressed with them and really proud of what they've come up with, because they've written some brilliant pieces of work.
We've heard those stories many times, but your very favourite lines were when you told us of that suit, though of it we have found no proof. A lovely deep green velvet.
It's quite cathartic to teach creative writing here in a way that doesn't have a strict must follow this curriculum, but is right from the beginning entirely designed around the students' needs. This is basically the most flexible style of teaching that I've ever had the pleasure of teaching.
It is sweet like the smile of a yet-to-speak toddler. Better? asks Lily. A more decisive nod is given in response. Finally, she feels safe.
I've just been blown away by the young writers that we had. they massively exceeded my expectations. So I think I've learned never to underestimate anybody.
The lily represents life and rebirth, the creation of something new. All life is special, and lilies show that this is true.
Majestic creatures standing confidently, their necks so fragile, easily shattered. These intelligent humans, while going about their daily rituals, tortured and slaughtered these beasts, oblivious as children immersed.
This group really wanted to talk and write about autism, and I think there's just been far too much mask wearing of all kinds this year, and it's been wonderful to be able to create this safe space where autistic people can just be themselves.
As somebody who's been diagnosed late in life, to actually find other people that it's like, wow, you don't really need to hide yourself. You can be yourself.
Just feeling included and being with like-minded people who I can relate to and kind of share my struggles with. I found that a really positive part of the workshops.
As the pilot drew to a close, we began work on publishing an anthology of their work, and we now hope to be able to attract additional funding to carry on. We want to be able to keep on developing these voices and finding platforms for them to be heard.
Honey, the smell, is keeping bees in the back garden, turning the extractor handle to spin the combs, hearing the golden liquid whir onto the metal sides. I used to do creative writing many years ago and just haven't done it for a long time. I found it invaluable from a writing point of view. It's been the best one I've been on.
I think I've regained some confidence, got some skills back, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Ideas bounce off each other all the time, and it really helps.
It's been fun to play with and give me a different way of looking at the other writing that I do.
Also, being able to take those silent moments, just write a small story about something, those have been really fun.
I struggle a lot with motivation, and just us all having a bit of time to write at the same time, it's really helped me get stuff down when normally I'd sit there struggling.
It helps me feel like I've got a bit more of a direction of what to do now, instead of just vomiting words on a page. I feel like I've got better direction now.
Writing gives me the time to find the word. Eventually, Pentangle stood up. He was most annoyed. "We need to have an oval, you stupid old rhomboid."
Some participants talk about how the project has given them a feeling of togetherness. Others about how a shared sense of understanding is empowering and creative, and helps them to express themselves in a world that doesn't always seem to play fair.
I have a big imagination and I've just never had anywhere to put it.
I'd say I've developed being able to share how I feel in my writing.
Autistic people are very skilled at masking their behaviours in a lot of ways. By writing within an autistic group with autistic facilitators, that gave them the opportunity to actually exploit that skill rather than being sort of embarrassed or ashamed of who they were, thinking, right, yeah, we've got this skill, we're going to use it and we're going to express ourselves really, really clearly. And it just worked.